They killed, give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my houses. Yes, you said so.
Should a murderer go to jail for murdering?
Absolutely.
Should a thief go to jail when he steals?
Absolutely.
Should a robber pay back the money he robbed?
Absolutely.
So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did?
That's right. That's right.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never our home. Only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. Fact that them here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles and make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash. Get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be them 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. Devils design 5 for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums.
You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
They said free the Palestinians, then celebrate the death of native Indians. How these other races gon' take us serious? They don't. It's silly thinking you can fight oppression with a vote. I'm so woke, I got sleep deprivation. Belly of the beast giving birth to a nation. You know how I feel to have culture and they take it. It'll never be peace, tell them free the reservation. Till it's backwards, they don't know that they exist no more. Ever try reaching out for help and you just get ignored? Pick up vices like drugs, your child fill a void. They get a youth life sentence for a killing, he was just a boy. Niggas poor, what we living for? Life a gamble, it's like 10-4. Police hands around your neck, they just hit record. We in war, man, this ain't the norm. But you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know. Mama on the stage crying. She just lost her only son to gang violence. Pops level 4 yard talking through the vents. Have you ever tried to hug your loved ones through a fence? Have you ever been hated just because your skin? Have you ever worked all week and couldn't pay your rent? Life a trip, I'm trying to catch my balance. Every step feel like I'm walking backwards. Credit card, but gotta check the balance. I come from where it's rough, that's why my heart callous. They want you to fall weak, that's a war tactic. Look how we live, what's scarier than that? What you know about crossing the Darien Gap? Risk your life to live in hell or bury your kids. Either way we gotta suffer and they just get rich. Life a bitch, why I waste time telling you that? Cause if you ain't a nigga like me, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know how I feel to be black. Yeah, you don't know.
Okay. Homie, I've been...
There's a king that's coming back to save our people. Now, we should be preparing ourselves for the return of our king, not stuck up in these denominations and religions that's destroying our people and destroying our nation.
So when we are in this kingdom and our brother and sister is doing wickedly in this kingdom, we must tell them, look, the world is expecting you to stay docile, to stay stupid.
That's what Christianity teaches our people. Teaches our people to hate one another and love the oppressor. Like, we'll never forgive one another for anything that another brother or sister do to us, but we'll forgive the oppressor in a heartbeat. There's something wrong with that, man.
Imagine living your life as a whole Christian your whole life, and life's good because you're a Christian and Jesus is white and everything's going great, and there's a landslide and the earth opens up and you go downstairs and you walk through this place and you see a black Jesus, man. Why is Jesus Christ black with an afro in the catacombs, man? This predates the Renaissance period.
So when you read the book of Genesis, the trees in the garden with other nations, a leaf, what is a leaf to a tree? Cover the tree. So Adam took the covering of another nation. What's the covering of another nation? Their culture. So when the Most High saw him, say, yo, Adam, where are you, man? Where are you? Don't mean I can't find you. He was like, who is this nigga? Like that. Where are you, man? I don't know you.
Okay. So the Ba al Banya Yasha'ala wa Amarath al Ham wa Aidya Yahaw. The Ba means speak. Al, when it's joined with something, so al Banya means what? Unto, right? Excellent. So al when it's joined with something means unto. Banya means children. Yasha'ala is Israel. So unto the children of Israel.
Like if it's one thing a hoe gonna do, a hoe gonna hold. But you ain't, she can't hold if there's nobody to hold with. And the thing she said at the end, where she said, I went back and I lied to him and he still wouldn't do it. And then she threw up her hands and she said, well, he'll just be a brother. That's what he need.
That's
brothers.
right.
If we have more brothers, hoes like her wouldn't have no outlet.
There was a man in the land of Oz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright.
There you go, the man called Job. I think Job is what that afflicted. And that man was perfect and upright, meaning what? You can be perfect, man. Job was a man like everybody else, man. Job wasn't no angel, he didn't come from the heavens, and that man was perfect, meaning what? You can be perfect in the Bible. Being perfect is in the Bible.
Had friends on my coattail way before Jimmy. Funny how the general ain't even see a penny. Better show respect, get smoked like a chimney. Keep my name out your mouth, don't even think it. Send a real Smith at y'all, no Jada Pinkett. Both ball heads, my grain above 50. Lost my man to the game, that pain that stuck with me. Had to find a cheat code to the street though, cause them niggas getting foul, shoot you like a free throw. Keep spitting acid like a Mino, and the nigga be the nicest with a mean flow.
I just float with it. Fuck what you did, I'm at your throat with it. You can learn something, take a note with it. Dedicated my life, I took an oath with it. For the blood of my brothers, we don't do no switching. I run with who I run with, ain't no clicking. Try me, do you done with no decision. Lead a scene like a Mack truck with 4 collisions. Pose everywhere, but they ain't gon' vote dissing. Coming at you live and direct, I don't do no dissing.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Yahweh Shemi Shah Barakatham to all my brothers. Yahweh Shema Alatham Shemi Shah to my sisters. I hope y'all is doing to Wab. Y'all having a good day. All right, this is Real Time Revelations, the show that myself, Officer 500 Albana out of the UK. I do this show every Monday and every Thursday. You know what I'm saying? Live, 6 p.m. UK time on the ISUPK, United Kingdom, YouTube, and Facebook. All right. Shalom to everybody that's watching live. I see y'all. Shalom. We've got Just Art and Paint. Shalom, sis. Mosiah Christ. All right, let's see what else we got. We of course got Kayala. Shalom, Princess. Yahweh Shema Alataba Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, Shalom. And then who else we got? We got my Idana. Shalom, sis. Yahweh Shema Alataba Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, Lord in Christ. All right, no sweats. Without further ado, let's get into tonight's topic. So tonight's topic, again, something I came across recently. Now, you know, when it comes to the UK and you know, giving memory and all, honoring the memory of those, you know, of British people that were unalived, they have no hesitation when it comes to, you know, they have no reservations when it comes to honoring those. But for some reason, when it comes to honoring Black people, when it comes to honoring, you know, what they would call ethnic minorities, which is you know, code word for the people of Israel. All right, now it can include other nations because they oppress other nations, of course. You know, white people are the biggest oppressor on the face of this earth, who oppressed many nations. But you'll find many times it's honed in the direction of so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. All right, and all these nations are confederate in destroying you. All right, so we're gonna get into tonight's topic. We're gonna talk about it. Let's talk about what happened. All right, so let's see. If I share my screen, let me do it right here. All right, let's go. Let's split the screen. 1 second. All right, stop sharing and reshare it. All right, let's go. Okay, so we see it here. This is a recent news story. You see, this article is from today at 1:38. All right, so there's, you know, updates on it and what's going on. Disgraceful and unforgivable. Decision to demolish Grenfell Tower attacked. Right? So for anybody who doesn't know about the Grenfell Tower incident, this is an incident. This is, as it says right here, the UK's deadliest residential fire since the Second World War. So this is an incident where there's these high-rise flats or apartments, right? These high-rise apartment is like 24 floors. Now, the building material of this high-rise flats or high-rise apartments, it was well known that there was dangers in the material, that these materials were highly flammable, but no one cared about it. No one gave a damn. They just signed, you know, whatever they needed to sign to say, yeah, it's fine, so they could make that money. Meanwhile, the people living in those apartments, in those flats, suffered the consequences when all of a sudden there was a fire and the whole thing caught ablaze within minutes. Like, we're talking, the whole thing was just on fire. You know, so many people lost their houses, lost their livelihood. 72 people were unalived, including 18 children. Is one of the biggest and deadliest residential fire and residential, you know, fire disaster since the Second World War. All right, and now, you know, it's currently been put up as almost like a memorial. So they wrapped it in scaffolding so that it won't fall, it won't hurt nobody. They wrapped it up and they put it up as the memorial, right? Now the government's saying, all right, it's time to take it down. All right, so we're gonna get into it. Clearly, nobody is happy. The government ain't listening to nobody and doesn't care. All right, so we're gonna get into this story. Hey, shalom also to Ira, shalom, Yahweh, Shem Yahushua Barakatah. All right, Lord of Christ. All right, so let's get right here. We got this video, short video right here, which explains what will happen to the Grenfell site. All right, so let's see what's gonna happen.
A community divided. Should the Grenfell Tower come down or stay standing? The fire claimed 72 lives back in 2017, and now, more than 7 years later, the Deputy Prime Minister, Angela Rayner, is facing criticism after announcing that the tower is going to be taken down. Survivors and bereaved families are split.
This building has been up for 7 years. It's been up for 7 years, and within those 7 years, the people who should be held responsible for this fire, the people who had their hand in the unaliving of 72 people, nothing has happened to them. They face no charges. There's been no calls for anything. No justice has been received in a whole 7, coming up on 8 years. It'll be 8 years in July. No justice has been received. And that's, again, the story we know far too well, the story of a tragedy, some of the worst tragedies happening to us. I mean, slavery is one of them. The worst recorded tragedy on the face of this earth, I'm saying, since the flood, happened to Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, and we have received no justice. We've received no reparation. We received nothing, and then it's just swept under the rug, just like they're trying to do to this Grenfell site. They're just trying to take it down, so to swipe their record clean, and so there's not this ugly stain in London that shows their complete utter failure towards Black people. This just shows their disregard and complete failure towards people, their complete disregard towards human rights and human life. They just want to go ahead and remove the building so that the stain is gone. It's out of sight, out of mind. People just go ahead and forget about it. Forget about the fact that you haven't received no justice. We're just taking it down, and they haven't said at all what's going to be put in its place. All right, so let's go back a little bit. Let's see where we are with it.
Is facing criticism after announcing that the tower is going to be taken down. Survivors and bereaved families are split over the decision to demolish the tower. Some feel it's the right call, others feel a sense of betrayal.
And I think what really hurt not only myself but a lot of bereaved survivors was genuinely just the lack of consultation.
Campaign group Grenfell United say the Deputy Prime Minister refused to explain the reason behind her decision. They released a statement saying ignoring the voices of bereaved on the future of our loved one's gravesite is disgraceful and unforgivable.
So they're saying they're just going to go ahead and take it down. They haven't even given a reason. Haven't given a reasons to why they're doing it. They haven't given a proper explanation to the families of the bereaved people that were unalived. They've given no, we just all right, fine. We're taking it down. All right, that's enough. I'm sick of seeing this big old ugly building every time I drive to work. That just shows my complete and utter failure. I'm sick of seeing it, so let's take it down. Without telling anybody, the reason why. We're barely consulting those, who are affected by it. Who lost family, who lost their mother, their sibling, their parent, the child. Just not giving a damn about those people. All right, let's get to it.
Sense of betrayal.
And I think what really hurt not only myself but a lot of bereaved survivors was genuinely just the lack of consultation.
Campaign group Grenfell United say the Deputy Prime Minister refused to explain the reason behind her decision. They released a statement saying ignoring the voices of bereaved on the future of our loved one's gravesite is disgraceful and unforgivable.
And that's what this building is. This building is a gravesite. Like the amount of people that were unalived in this building just represents essentially a huge gravestone for all those that were unalive. The same way,
in the capital of London, they have the cenotaph, which represents all those that were unalived in World War One and World War Two. It's a giant 50-foot memorial that represents those that were unalived. This building here is a grave site and it's a memorial. They wouldn't demolish the cenotaph. They wouldn't take that down because we're gonna read on the article where they try and come up with some excuse on why they need to take it down and this, down, the third. They won't take down the memorial. They won't take down the cenotaph. They won't take down the World War One and World War II memorial. They won't say to stop wearing their puppy on their chest every 11th of November because it's too painful to remember those who were unalived. They won't say those things. But when it comes to Black people remembering those, when it comes to the children of the Windrush and the Windrush generation, what I'm saying, I'm sure it's just too painful for y'all to look at this building every day. We're gonna go ahead and take it down. We're gonna go ahead and take it down. We're not gonna really properly consult you. We've made a decision. We're gonna take it down, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Good night.
And we've never sided with any political party. But it's just, we've told every single Secretary of State, and there's been many of them, that whenever you make any decisions about anything to do with Grenfell, especially the tower, you need to make sure you speak to the bereaved families and the survivors. But the bereaved families need to be at the heart of this, And they've just completely fudged it.
But another group, Grenfell Next of Kin, are more supportive. They say constant debates have only caused pain and further division. And their statement says, do we wish the whole tower could stay forever? Yes. Is that an option? Not from a structural point of view. So is the tower structurally safe? Engineering experts generally agree that while it's stable and safe for people to live nearby, its condition could worsen over time. But there's no suggestion that it's going to be brought back into use. So what happens next? Some want the tower to stay standing until criminal prosecutions get underway, expected no sooner than the end of next year.
So that's what they're saying. Like, some people want this to stay up in place until somebody is held accountable for what happened. Like, this is a reminder of what happened, and that to this day, nobody has been held accountable. We're just trying to go ahead and take it down and sweep the whole thing under the rug, sweep everything that happened, all the failures from the government, all the failures from the manufacturers of these materials and the surveyors. Just shove everything under the rug, completely forget about it. People want this held up until justice has been received, and the fact it's been there so long, like that's not to do with I mean, I'm gonna keep it as a memorial, that's fine, but they would be more okay with you taking it down if they had received justice, if they'd received somebody was held accountable for this thing. Because you lost your whole, you lost a family member, you lost people you loved and cared dearly about. That can't be brought back. There's no amount of compensation. I don't even know if they received any compensation. There's no amount of compensation that can bring that family member back. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this, but nobody has. So they're trying to take it down after they're saying, well, it's been up for 7, almost 8 years. Yeah, 7 and almost 8 years, and still no justice has been received. And even the police is saying that they don't expect any decision to be made on any, whether anybody's going to be charged or prosecuted until the end of 2026, which is over 8 years past, the day of the incident. Again, this is a story of Blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians we're all too familiar with. We're all too familiar with such a terrible tragedy happening to us, and then we never receive justice. Never. It's a rare occasion and almost a cause for absolute, celebration and joy nationwide when one police officer gets charged with something. Maybe just, instead of being murder, get charged for manslaughter, and that's still cause for celebration because of how little we receive actual justice. Let's play on.
Others, including Grenfell Next of Kin, think it's time to start planning a memorial, and they've suggested potentially a tower garden to ensure Grenfell is never forgotten. Exactly what the site will look like after demolition isn't yet clear. The Grenfell Tower Memorial Commission are working on that, and they hope to appoint a designer by the end of the summer. They'll take opinions from bereaved families, from survivors, and from the local community.
For me, as long as it's a place where I'm able to sit down, reflect, but also, be able to interact with people from the local community, I think that's, to me, is the most important.
In a statement, the government told us the priority for the Deputy Prime Minister is to meet with and write to the bereaved, survivors and the immediate community to let...
Well, clearly not. Clearly not. Clearly the priority isn't to speak to those bereaved, because those bereaved are saying, well, you made this decision to take it down, but you haven't consulted us. So clearly that's not a priority. Clearly not. This is a blatant lie. It sounds good. It sounds amazing. It's a priority to consult those who are bereaved. It sounds amazing. It sounds beautiful. It sounds all, dandy, fine and dandy. But it's a lie. It's a straight up lie. As the oppressor is known to give. Nothing but straight up lies.
The government told us the priority for the Deputy Prime Minister is to meet with and write to the bereaved, survivors and the immediate community to let them know her decision on the future of the Grenfell Tower. This is a deeply personal matter for all those affected, and the Deputy Prime Minister is committed to keeping their voice at the heart of this.
So they're, of course, committed to keeping those affected, their voice close to this. Of course, they're committed to it. All right, let's get this next article. All right, let me get this next article. So this is what the bereaved, this is what the affected, this is what the survivors are saying. They're saying plans to dismantle the tower is unforgivable. That's what they're saying. That's what they say. If the government wants to, hear the families of those, that suffered the loss of people, that survived that incident but lost their homes. If the government wants to hear from those, you're hearing from them now. They're saying don't do it. They're saying it's completely unforgivable. That's what they're saying. Are you listening? Are you listening? We'll see. I guess we'll see. It don't sound like you're listening. All right, let's read on. The decision to deconstruct Grenfell Tower has been met with anger by some bereaved relatives and survivors of the fire that unalived 72 people there in 2017. Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner told a meeting on Wednesday that the West London Tower block would be dismantled to ground level. They're taking that thing all the way to the ground. All right, but a spokesperson for Grenfell United, which represents some of the bereaved families and survivors, said no one at the meeting supported the decision, and that ignoring their wishes was disgraceful and unforgivable. There's not one person at the meeting, was happy with this decision, supported this decision in any way, but they're completely being ignored. Who cares? The government are taking it down. They're going to do what they want to do. You were simply a servant in their empire. Why would they consult you? They're gonna hold a meeting just to show, just to save face. So they can say, look, well, we consulted them. Okay, well, did you actually listen while you consulted them? No, but we consulted them though. We spoke with them. See? That's your oppressor. All right, let me see. There's been years of debate over the future of the 24-story tower, with some hoping it would remain as a lasting reminder of the tragedy, and others wanting it replaced with a new memorial. Okay, so someone wants it to be taken down and replaced with a new memorial, right? No sweat. Some local residents, meaning those who just live in the area, have nothing to do with it, are calling for it to be removed completely. All right, it says one former Grenfell resident said the section of the block that's structurally unsafe should be taken down but retained to become a memorial, as if it's out of sight, it will definitely be out of mind. And that's what the government are trying to do. They're saying, oh, well, it's unsafe. And even though, at the moment, it is completely safe and there's nothing wrong with it, over time, it's going to deteriorate. So we need to take it down. We need to take it down, man. After the government made an agreement that they weren't going to touch it until 8 years have passed. until the 8th anniversary, and then they were going to make a decision on it. The 8th year anniversary is in July, but they couldn't even wait a few months. They couldn't even wait a few months to keep their own promise. And that's your oppressor. Your oppressor breaks every treaty, every agreement. He just breaks everything. Like he imagine you couldn't wait a matter of months. When is July? In 4 months. You couldn't wait 4 months. That's your oppressor. That's your oppressor, man. Breaks every promise he makes. Just ask the Native Indians. All right, let me see. Hey, shalom to Adolphus Las Yahweh Shemiah Washai Barakatah. Shalom, man. All right, so let's see. Let's see what we got. A formal government announcement on the matter is expected to be made on Friday. All right, so they should have a formal government announcement tomorrow. The spokesperson for Grenfell United said Rayner had refused to confirm how many bereaved people and survivors had been spoken to in the recent short 4-week consultation. So they said we've had a 4-week consultation over 4 weeks. We've been speaking to, the bereaved, and we've been speaking to those affected, but they didn't confirm how many. They confirmed how many people they spoke to. And in the meeting that they were involved with, nobody agreed with that decision. So again, these are just lies that your oppressor is saying as if they've spoken and consulted, and it's in the best interest of those affected to just take the thing down. All right, today's meeting just showed just how upset bereaved and survivors are about not having their views heard or considered in this decision. Ignoring the voices of the bereaved of our loved ones' gravesite is disgraceful and unforgiving. All right, let me see. Now this Grenfell next of kin, like they're the ones that are saying, oh, well, I guess we agree with the decision because it's unsafe. So they're saying, like this person who acts for some of the bereaved families, that she attended the meeting. She described the meeting as charged, right? Meaning she could tell that there was some hidden agenda behind it, but she just didn't know what it was. We could tell there's something, like it's charged. They're trying to do something. They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes and do something, but we don't know what it is. There's no way of really saying. I've seen recently, shout out to my Rib Kai Allah, I've seen recently, my Rib found a story about how Keir Starmer is making it easier for them to make nuclear power stations. I wouldn't be surprised if they just turn that whole site into a nuclear power station. Because your oppressor is just money hungry. He's greedy. He doesn't give a damn about the lives of people, the lives lost. All right, let me see what we got. Also, shout out to Dover's Last. Yeah, hit the like button. Go ahead and hit the like button. You know what I'm saying? Drop a comment. You know what I'm saying? Let me know how you feeling. Let me know what you're thinking about this whole thing. All right, let me see what we got. The Deputy Prime Minister was very clear that she's taking this decision very seriously, but that it's a serious responsibility and it's a very sensitive decision to make, but it's one that she felt she had to make. Ooh, just more nice words. It was a difficult decision. It's a serious responsibility and such a sensitive decision, but we couldn't even wait the extra 4 months. We couldn't wait the 4 months to fulfill our promise. So how sensitive is that? It's nothing to do with the structural integrity of the property, because we know that it's structurally sound. Like it's not just going to crumble and fall in 4 months. So you couldn't even wait that. You're talking about, oh, well, it's sensitive, and we just felt like we had to make this decision. Your oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, they wouldn't take down, something that was a memorial for, the Holocaust, or something that was a memorial for World War II. They wouldn't take that down, but they take this down. All right, let me see. The government was previously warned the structure may be unsafe due to the extent of the fire damage. All right, but we know that they know it's structurally sound. Like it's not just going to crumble and fall down. Yeah, it suffered some damage because there was a fire. Of course, it suffered damage. There was a fire that unalived people. We know this. That's the point. That's the point. The point is the government, the surveyors, the people who manufacture these materials, they need to do more to keep people's safety in mind. That's the point. The point is we still haven't received justice for those involved. That's the point. They're gonna say, oh well, you know, the government's gonna say, well, we've been warned the structure may be unsafe, so we need to take it down. We need justice. How about that? How about you know, because the structure is unsafe, let's speed up this justice process. Let's speed that up. But oh, you know, we can't do anything about that until 2026, the end of 2026, for some reason. Now, why is there always such? And I wouldn't mention this, you know, when we went over the Kevin Clark story. Like, why is there such a delay? It's a delay that just never ends. There's always such a delay when it comes to court cases to do with the injustices that we suffer. There's always such a delay when it comes to receiving justice. It's like, oh well, we don't know. We're gonna let's think about it again for some reason in years, like over 8 years before they made any decision. Like, what is we talking about? They know exactly what happened. They know who's responsible, but they hold themselves not guilty. That's in the Bible right there. I share this damn near every show. Zechariah 11:15, whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. They hold themselves not guilty, like, you know, we know who did it. Yeah, we know that we're to blame. Like, the government has admitted many times that they are the ones to blame. They failed those, you know what I'm saying, those are you know what I'm saying, people of the Windrush. We were failed. But who has been brought to justice? Who has been held accountable? Even with the whole Church of England thing, like the Archbishop, he will say, well, yeah, we failed, you know what I'm saying, but what happens to him? Is he, you know, charged? Is he imprisoned? Is he fined at least? Is anything happening to him? No, he just enters an early retirement. That's insane, man. All right, let me see. I'm gonna skip a part just for time's sake. All right, let me see what we got. Okay. Let me see. Miss Zabian said she understood the government's rationale for the decision, which I still don't know what it was, because they didn't really say what it was. They just said that, well, we've been told it may be unsafe. Okay, well, you've been told that it's, you know, it's gonna stand for a few more years. You've been told that. You know that the government itself made a promise that they weren't going to do anything to it for 8 years, until the 8th memorial, which is in July. You know that, but you've made this decision anyway. All right, but said many people were very unhappy. She said that at the meeting, one person had told Raina, no one cares about this more than me because I had just bits of bone to bury of my mother. This person, the only thing that they had of their mother to bury was just bits of bone, fragments of bone. So of course that meaning means a lot to her. All right, and that person said this is where her soul is, where her ashes are. It's in that building, because she burned until there was nothing left to burn but a few bits of bone. All right. Following the meeting, a government spokesperson said, this is a deeply personal matter for all those affected, and the Deputy Prime Minister is committed to keeping their voice at the heart of this. Well, evidently not. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said a decision on the tower's future has got to be made. But we do need to always have in our mind's eye the victims in this terrible, terrible tragedy. Again, it sounds good, but where is the, like, you know, are you not hearing what they're saying? Where is the actual, you know, you talk about the mind's eye. How about the mind's ears? Are the mind's ears listening? Like, is anything being heard by the actual people who are suffering from this, or who suffered from it? All right, let me see what else we got. Let me see. Mushtaq Lashery, a local resident and chairman of Lancaster West Estate Residents Association, told Radio 4, we were waiting over 7.5 years for a closure, and I hope this decision will bring a closure. A closure to what? What closure does this decision bring? Imagine you had family that was unalived in one of the, you know, biggest failures from, you know, everybody involved in years. Nobody's held accountable. The building is held up as a memorial. You go there, you know, every year or every so often and remember those who you lost. And then all of a sudden they made a decision that we're going to tear it down. And this and after 7.5 years of never receiving any justice, they're going to tear it down. And this is supposed to provide closure. Now, what closure does that provide? Let's see what we got. When we surveyed, so they did a survey, y'all. They did a survey. When we surveyed a few years back, a few years back, but this what was we talking about? The overwhelming majority wanted to take it out, and the reason is number one, it's dangerous. Number two, it reminds us every day. It's supposed to remind you every day. That's what it's supposed to do, and it's not as dangerous as they're making it seem. The whole thing is wrapped in scaffolding. So even that layer around it, you know, stabilizes it. But it's not nearly as dangerous as they're making it seem. And the fact that it reminds you every day, okay, well, every year, you know, you have the cenotaph, you have so many memorials in England that remind you of people who are unalived every day. You wouldn't knock those down. This is an absolute attempt, and you can't convince me otherwise. This is an attempt to just sweep the whole thing under the rug, man. To just remove the stain that's on Britain. Let me see. Emma O'Connor, who lived on the 20th floor of the tower and escaped the fire that night, told Radio 4's Today program she thought the tower should be taken down from the top to the 10th floor, which they say is the most unstable. So it can then be erected into a standing memorial. So even some people are saying, okay, well, if you're saying it's unsafe, well, that's fine. How about instead of dismantling the whole thing, how about you dismantle, you know, the top 14 floors, so from the top to the 10th floor, which are the most unstable. Of course, it's a high-rise flat, right? So they're saying, okay, well, how about this? You take from 24 down to 10. They said, nah, we're taking this thing to ground level. The whole thing's gotta go. We gotta make space for these nuclear plants. And there's been no decision, there's been no discussion on what's going to take its place. There've been so many, you know, there've been ideas put forth for a memorial from the people, but from the government, you know, there's been no real discussions on what's going to take its place. They're saying they're going to hire some designer to make something. We'll see. All right, let me see. We understand it's unsafe, but if it's out of sight, it will definitely be out of mind for those responsible for the tragic unaliving. Because that's how your president is. Like what he is, what he might this whole thing, because no justice has been received. Like at the point of you dismantling it, you're dismantling a crime scene. You're literally destroying the evidence. That building is evidence of the crime. It's evidence. And no justice has been received, so now you're simply destroying evidence before any verdicts can be received, which your oppressor is certainly known to do. All right. Let me see. I think that's all I want to put on that. Let me see. Got some more videos about it. All right. Let me share this right here. All right. Let me see where we at with it. But this is gonna go into, you know what I'm saying, that the fact that they know exactly who is responsible for it. All right. This is key takeaways from the Grenfell inquiry. All right. Let's go.
More than 7 years since 72 people died in the Grenfell Tower fire, the final findings into why it happened have been published. Here's everything you need to know. The report said the government knew about the deadly risks of combustible cladding and insulation a year before the fire, but it failed to act on what it knew. It said officials.
So the government knew that it was absolutely dangerous, and it was just a matter of time before this whole thing lights on fire. They knew a year before the incident and did absolutely nothing until there was a fire that just burned the whole thing down. And now they're making the changes in retrospect. And even the changes, like even there's still buildings to this day. I think this video gonna go into it. There's still buildings to this day that's still a massive fire risk. Nothing is being done about it.
More than 7 years since 72 people died in the Grenfell Tower fire, the final findings into why it happened have been published. Here's everything you need to know.
The report said the government knew about the deadly risks of combustible cladding and insulation a year before the fire, but it failed to act on what it knew. It said officials were complacent, dismissive and defensive on fire safety, and that they prioritised cutting red tape instead.
So the government were dismissive. They just didn't care. Of course they don't care. Like, he was living in there. It's majority what they would call ethnic minorities. So who cares? Let's just go ahead and build more buildings. We can charge them more rent and make more money. Always unsafe. We'll deal with that later. Let's build more so we can make more money and fill our pockets because we're greedy, just greedy bastards, man. Straight up and down. All right. Hey, shalom to ISUPK Brazil. Shalom, Lord Christ. All right. That's how your government operates. They're too busy, cutting red. What do you call it? Red tape.
In 1999, and that they prioritised cutting red tape instead. In 1999,
just trying to build more buildings, make more money.
a Parliament Select Committee even warned the government it shouldn't take a deadly fire for action to be taken to minimise the risk of combustible cladding. The report blamed the systemic dishonesty of a number of companies that made and sold insulation products. It singled out Arconic Architectural Products, a company that manufactured and sold ACM cladding. Aluminium composite panels have been banned in the UK since 2018 because of this fire. The report said Arconic deliberately concealed from the market the true extent of the danger of using its rain screen panels. Arconic.
Good night. That is one of the what they call them, organizations or companies that is directly involved, like named, that these people concealed how dangerous this material was. Like, yeah, it was cheap, and they sold it and they made money off it, but they concealed that, okay, well, this thing is a fire hazard, it's flammable. You can make a building out of it, but they concealing that this thing it failed every fire test, every fire safety test they had. Failed everything. They could seal that so they could make money.
Said its product was safe and legal and that it didn't conceal information or mislead any certification body.
Well, it was safe. Listen, it was fine. It's fine, and it was legal because at the time there was no law against it, but they knew it was unsafe. And again, they're lying through their teeth because they're greedy, filthy liars.
The report also said Celotex, which supplied most of the insulation, similarly embarked on a dishonest scheme to mislead customers.
This is another company. This company was involved in the insulation, and again, they were completely dishonest and misleading in how dangerous these materials are.
Said Kingspan knew its insulation product failed fire safety tests disastrously, but continued to.
They knew that this insulation that they were selling to build these high-rise flats for your poor people to live in, they knew that the failed fire safety test disastrously. They knew that this was going to cause quite literally a disaster. And it did in 2017, man. Give me 1 second. So give me 1 second. All right, they knew this thing was going to be absolutely dangerous. All right, now these are people's lives you're playing with. All right, let's play on.
Sell it to high-rise buildings. Kingspan said the principal reason for the spread of the fire was the ACM cladding, which was not made by Kingspan. The report said that the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea and the tenant management organisation were jointly responsible for managing fire safety at Grenfell Tower. But from 2009...
Let's play that back. Who was responsible?
And the tenant management organisation. The report said that the Royal Borough of Kensington and Chelsea and the tenant management organisation were jointly responsible for managing fire safety.
And you see from the whole of this banner, this much evidence and still no charges. meaning they know exactly what happened. They know exactly what happened. They know exactly who's responsible, but still no charges have been given. Absolutely no charges. All right. Let's see what we got. Let's play on.
Responsible for managing fire safety at Grenfell Tower. But from 2009 to 2017, both were indifferent to fire safety. There was
Good, nice. So from 2009 to what, 2017 or 2016, did you say? Like what's that, 7 to 8 years? They just didn't care. They're responsible for keeping people safe and for setting the standard for buildings when it comes to fire safety, something that's very common. Like fire safety. Fires happen all the time. And these is high-rise flats where you have, hundreds of people living there. Hundreds, if not thousands. I think about 100. We're talking like, maybe 3, 4. I mean, almost 100 people were unalived in just that one incident. Hundreds of people are living here, and you don't care. You completely disregard fire safety. Now, what is we talking about? For 7 to 8 years.
also a toxic relationship between the TMO and residents at Grenfell, who were dismissed as troublemakers when they raised concerns.
And when the residents raised concern about, guys, maybe is this thing safe? Like, I know we live in here. We paying rent. You earning money off us. Is this building we're living in safe? Because I'm noticing this thing might be a fire hazard, and you're just dismissed as a troublemaker. You're dismissed as a troublemaker. Stop causing trouble. It's fine. We had Billy Bob from this, that, and the third survey it. He said it's fine. He'd take the box. You stop being a troublemaker. Stop stirring trouble. It's fine. Go and live. Bring your whole family there. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. Just stop stirring trouble. Stop causing a fuss. You're gonna make things expensive for me. You're gonna make me actually maybe have to spend some money. These landlords. When it comes to these landlords, good night. When it comes to these landlords, the landlord don't spend a damn penny on making anything safe or fixing anything. He will cut every single corner he can, and that's what they're doing. So when you say, "Hey, is this thing safe?" they call you a troublemaker. You can get completely dismissed, and nobody cares.
The system of regulating the construction and refurbishment of high-rise buildings was seriously defective in 2016. It added that there was an inappropriate relationship between the approved inspectors and those they were inspecting. It blamed the government for...
So they're saying there's a what did you say, an inappropriate relationship?
It added that there was an inappropriate relationship.
Inappropriate relationship between the inspectors and those they're inspecting. Meaning those that are inspecting the landlords or the owners of this building, they just get their mate from down the road that they have a drink with every night at the pub. Hey, we're required by the government or whatever to inspect the building, make sure it's safe. Could you just come over and take a box? Come over, take a box. It's fine. I'll slide you a few. I'll buy you a round on me. There's an inappropriate relationship between those inspecting and those being inspected. The same thing with the Church of England. There was one guy who he was the I think it was the most recent one, John Parambalat, the Indian bishop, who he was in charge of disciplining bishops, behavior. Meanwhile, he was the one who was harassing women and forcing himself upon them and kissing them and this, that, and the third. There's a conflict of interest, is what they call it. The same thing with the police. You have the police investigating the police. It's a conflict of interest. All right, let's go.
Between the approved inspectors and those they were inspecting. It blamed the government for failing to monitor the system and recommends now that a single independent body be created to regulate the industry.
And as Ira says right here, they need to be in prison. They absolutely need to be in prison, but for 8 years, nothing has happened to these people, but they're just going to go ahead and demolish the building. They're going to go ahead and take the building down because we're sick of looking at it. That's their reason. It's nothing to do with safety. They're sick of looking at it, and they're sick of having that memory of how much they failed you, and how much they continue to fail you, because these people who need to be in prison are not in prison. Not even, I don't even know if they were fined or anything happened to them, but people's lives were lost. Like, someone needs to be held accountable, man. But let's try to sweep this thing under the rug, out of sight, out of mind. I think I got one more video to play for y'all. I'm gonna read one last scripture and we're gonna get out of here. All right? Give me 1 sec. Let's see.
It's not easy to build consensus around that. This is by definition now, in the light of the lives that have been lost, a sacred space. So it must be treated respectfully. But it's also a crime scene. And they want justice. This is a wonderful community. It's a diverse community. It's a community that has suffered terribly. But they're brave and they're hopeful. And they'll not just survive, they'll succeed. And the memorial must capture that.
These people are brave and hopeful. They're brave and hopeful. For so long, Black people have been brave and hopeful. We've been so brave in enduring all the oppression that we've been through for over 400 years and counting. We've been brave and we've been hopeful that maybe one day, maybe just one day, this oppressor will give us some justice. Maybe. The Bible says we've longed for a nation that could not save us. We've been so brave and so hopeful. It's time we stop hoping. It's time as a nation we stop praying and hoping and being good Christians, praying to white Jesus to come and save us. White Jesus will never save you. White Jesus will never give you justice. We need to stop praying and being hopeful. It's time we as a nation take action. Instead of praying and hoping for our oppressor to save us, how about we do the work, we become the nation, we become the people that the Most High, our Father, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, they come down and save us. The time for praying and the time for hope, the time for prayer warriors and just Christianity as a whole is over. We're done with that, man. We've been praying and hoping that maybe one day the master will put down the whip. Maybe one day he'll have mercy on us. Maybe one day this and one day that. We've been brave and endured every attempt at genocide they try. I'm sick of our nation being just known as brave and hopeful. How about we become righteous? Just deny everything this oppressor gives you. Deny everything. Because all he's trying to do is keep you in this low state. He gives you drugs, he gives you guns, and like we covered in last week's story, they lead the institutions and they set this pathway to make you a criminal. They dangle the drugs right in front of you, like a carrot on a stick, man. How about we put all that down? They dangle them abortion clinics right in front of you and say, "Oh, well, you're poor. You don't want to bring a child into this world if you can't support it. You know, it's your body, your choice." And this, that, and the third. They give you all these things and seduce you with all their filth, man. How about we reject all of it and turn to the Most High? The Most High is the only one that can give us justice. Not white Jesus. Not white Jesus. All right. Even there's a song that goes, "Me now have no white God. Don't teach me anything wrong. Because a white man now gonna save me from white man oppression." A white man isn't gonna save you from the white people oppressing you. If Jesus was right, then was white, then good night. Yeah, we done for. But it's a good thing Yahweh Shai is a black man like you and me, man. Thank the Lord for that. White Jesus will never give you justice, but black, Yahweh Shai, he will. We just need to be righteous like he was righteous. All right, let me see. The last thing I'm gonna get, Isaiah 61 and verse 1. Let me get into this chapter. There's a few more verses I want to read on it. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me. Let me make this a little bigger. Give me 1 second. Text size. Yeah, right here. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me because the Lord hath appointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. All right. We are the meek. We are the people that are brave and hopeful. That's what it means to be meek. To be meek, it means to be humble, to be, not proud like your oppressor's proud. We are a people that for over 400 years, we've been brave and we've been hopeful and we've been suffering. We've been turning the other cheek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, and these survivors and descendants of the Grenfell victims. These people are brokenhearted. Brokenhearted every day of those 8 years. They never received justice. And the fact now it's just going to be swept under the rug. They're brokenhearted, man. And to proclaim liberty to the captives and to the opening of the prison to them that are bound, all these traps that they set for us to throw to they call it a school to prison pipeline. Everything in this kingdom is set to get black people in prison so you can use them once again as slaves. And if you're not thrown in prison, then you just work as a wage slave, and you give Massa your we call it tributary. You give Massa his taxes. All right. To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn. Listen, vengeance is not a bad thing. Vengeance is a good thing. You should desire vengeance, otherwise known as what? Justice. You should desire justice, and receiving justice, receiving vengeance is the only way you comfort all those that mourn. That's the only way you truly comfort them. All right, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to appoint unto blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, that wherever we are in mourning. We are in a terrible state. We suffer the most, more than any other nation on the face of this earth. To give unto them beauty for ashes. I mean, good night. Instead of receiving ashes, instead of being burned alive like what happened in the Grenfell, we can become a people that have beauty instead. We have beauty for ashes. The oil of joy for mourning. We are people who have mourned for so long. But a time will come where we receive beauty for our ashes. We receive oil of joy for mourning. The garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Instead of being in such a heavy spirit, because every day we bear the burden of being oppressed, we can receive a garment of praise, man. That they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. When black people are the ruling class on the face of this earth, Yahweh, our God, the true power will be glorified. Because what? Can anything good come out of Nazareth? That's what they said about Christ, man. Can anything good come out of the barrios, the slums and the ghettos and the council estates of the UK? Can anything good come out of that? Yes. God's chosen people came out of there, man. All right, we need to turn back and serve our God. Only then will we ever have a chance of receiving justice. All right. But with that, that is my show. I hope you all have enjoyed. Make sure y'all tune in next Monday, all right, for the next episode of Real Time Revelations. We'll see what topic we're finna get into. All right. Shalom to everybody that's watching. The water for y'all. The water for Adolphus Last. Ira. You know what I'm saying? Kaya La. Who else we got? Kaya La. Ma'idana. Just on paid the water. I appreciate y'all watching. I hope to see y'all Monday. And with that, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Barakatham to all my brothers, and Yahweh Shemar Adatham Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai to all my sisters, man. Shalom, Lord in Christ.
I just float with it. Fuck what you did, I'm at your throat with it. You can learn something, take a note with it. Dedicated my life, I took an oath with it. For the blood of my brothers, we don't do no switching. I run with who I run with, ain't no clicking. Try me, do you done with no decision. Lead a scene like a Mack truck with 4 collisions. Pose everywhere, but they ain't gon' vote dissing. Coming at you live and direct, I don't do no dissing.